Name and affiliation, please. Who wants to start?
Jason Quick, The Athletic. Dame, can you maybe talk about what kind of perspective you gained in being sidelined last year?
It was probably the first time in my career that I had to just watch. I had to step away and deal with something that had been, bothering me for a couple years. But just the opportunity to be at home and be with my family and just focus on myself personally and focus on getting healthy and just, building myself back and without the responsibility of performing, of, worrying about winning or losing and things like that. I just think it recharged me. It allowed me to get to a place where I come back into the season where I'm just, I would say, calm, at peace, excited to play again. You get in a year after year after year type of cycle where it's just like, all right, the season is back, the season is back. So stepping away, it allowed me to be excited to play again and, to feel good and to, I had the last 9 months of family time, some traveling, doing stuff that, I know is going to fill me up personally so I can come back into this season, just feeling different. I feel, like I said, I feel charged up again.
Dame, I'm Mike Richmond, Lockdown Blazers. Since you've been around the last couple of weeks at the PF, who has stood out to you and in what ways, like just playing with guys?
I couldn't say one person. I think I've just been excited about the way our team looks. For me, I'm excited, like I said, to be back playing and to be back around the team. But just looking at how our team looks, looking at Jeremy and, the size, the athleticism, the versatility sticks out. But then, being able to see his skill set up close has been impressive. And then just seeing the growth of a lot of our young players too. Keon Johnson, I think to me he's been the most impressive player from last year to this year, just development-wise and seeing how he's approaching the game and what he's doing. Seeing the younger players not try to prove themselves as far as, I can do this, I can do that. They're doing the things that can, help the team and what they can get on the floor and actually provide for the team. So, that's been the biggest thing for me is just seeing the way that our team looks, the type of shape that we came in a month ago. Guys was in good shape. Everybody's body looked good. We was having quality runs. We just was, having a lot of time around each other, and also having a lot of conversations about the things that we want to do, not wins and losses wise, but just the things we want to do as a team, how we want to play, what type of things, we're going to do on the floor. So it was exciting to see and to, just to be a part of that.
Aaron Fentress, the Oregonian. Dan, you've talked in the past about how you and CJ would hold each other accountable. He's gone now. One, how weird is that to be here without him? And two, is there anyone else on this roster who can have that kind of clout with you?
It was definitely a little bit weird last season, I would say. Just, once the trade happened and him not being around, I was so used to him being around and his locker being across from mine. Talking to him after games, at practice, just, I was just used to it. That was pretty much my whole career. But I think it's, seeing him on another team, then them being in the playoffs, and, even when I saw him this summer, in the gym a few times, just, we just not on the same team no more. And it was, it became clear, and I just kind of, came to grips with that, and that was that. But I think this year, me and Ant, we've always had a good relationship. Since he came into the league, I've always kind of mentored him on things and how I think and how I go about things since he was 19 years old. So I think his ascension and his rise has been obvious. And, I think because of the foundation of our relationship is we're going to be able to have the same thing. I can speak to him the same way. And, when he does talk, he can speak to me however he needs to, but it's a lot of comfort there, between us. He's comfortable with me, I'm comfortable with him. I believe in him, he believes in me, and I think that's, now it's just time to continue to grow that. We got to share the floor. And one thing me and CJ always did was we made sure that, we had each other's best interests. If it's Ant's moment, I'm a pour into that moment. If he's having a good stretch, I'm a pour into that stretch. And if he's not doing something good enough, if he's not locked in, if he's not sharp, if I feel like he's not with me that night or that week or whatever, I'm gonna say something, and vice versa. That's the way it should be. So, to answer your question, it was a little bit weird in the beginning without him, but a lot of time has passed, and he's in New Orleans. I'm here. We got a lot of guys stepping in. That's excited to step in and be a part of what we're doing here, and I'm excited as well.
Dame, 1080 The Fan, Danny Moran, 1080 The Fan. You talk about the difference between CJ being gone. Stylistically, what do you expect that relationship is going to be like with Anthony now being a starter, now sharing that floor with you? Because that's the one thing over the years, you and him haven't spent a lot of time together on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't in games, but I think with me and CJ, we could score a lot of points. CJ, he'd get the ball. He's crafty with the ball. You knew you can count on CJ to get 20, 25. And I've been doing it a long time. I'm going to score points, and I'm going to have the ball. I'm going to make plays. But I think the difference this year will be that, going back to what I said about Ant, the way that I play, like, I'm gonna make the right play. I'm gonna get in the paint. If somebody comes, I'm gonna hit the corner. I'm gonna hit the roll man. I'm gonna pass it ahead in transition. And because Ant came into the league so young, I was always pulling him to the side, whether it was during timeouts, whether it was in practice, whether it was after film, and I was explaining to him, this is why I do this. This is why this works. When I come out and I got to keep the defense honest by, the pass aheads, hitting the pocket, making the right plays, and that way I keep them off balance, and it makes it easier for me as a scorer. So I use my scoring, my ability to score, to be a better playmaker, and then it allows me to have a big fourth quarter. It allows me to, keep the defense guessing. And I think because he was so young and he was watching it every game for his first couple years in the league, I think he kind of adopted that mentality as an NBA player, and he's already the kind of person that is, unselfish. He sees the game the right way, and I think because of that, because of who he is, and because of me, him being my rook and him kind of developing as my teammate, it'll be like two of us out there basically. Like he can get to spots, he can score really well, but Ant is gonna make the right play, and if he gets going, he's going to get going. But I know that he's going to have the same type of mentality that I have, so it'll allow me to be on the ball sometimes, him to be on the ball sometimes, but it won't look like my turn, his turn. It'll be, more movement, more action. The ball will hop around more. So I think that'll be the difference.
Dame, Sean Heiken, Rose Garden Report. I think all of us and a lot of fans are very curious about Shaedon because we haven't seen him at Summer League or really at all. You've been in the gym with him all summer. Like, what are your kind of assessment of him at this point, and like where what you think of him as a player, and then also like what you might expect from him in his rookie season?
I mean, I think the talent is off the charts, and when I watch him work out, everything is just easy for him. Defensively, he recovers. I saw him and Nas playing one-on-one, and, Nas kind of got a step on him, and Nas just rose up, and both of them was like top of the square, and he went, they met up top, you know what I mean? And it was like only a super athlete could make a play like that on another super athlete. And, he got his hand on the ball, and the ball just like spent off the glass and still went in, but he blocked it. And he just did it effortless, when he's training, even offensively, how he handles the ball when he shoots is just so effortless. So the talent, like I said, is off the charts. But I really like his disposition. Just, he's always calm. And when I watch him, I always think like, what if I was 18 or 19 years old and I had to just jump onto an NBA team, and I don't know what that'll look like. Like I'll probably be out there looking crazy, but he fits in and he's just trying to find his way. But I think the types of questions that he asks, he listens, he shows up every day. I think when you take the talent with how he is as a person, I think when it connects, I think he could be, one of those guys that, depending on how fast that happens, whether it's the end of this year, some point this year or next year, I think he has the talent and he's the right kind of person that could really, he can make a huge difference for our team. Just because of the kind of talent he is, you don't just come across players like that. So if the development happens, I really feel like he could become a guy that really changes our team, probably more so than anybody else.
Hey, Dame. This season you're going to be playing, excuse me, in Seattle, which traditionally was kind of enemy territory for the Blazers. Do you like playing those exhibition games in different communities that might not necessarily be able to see you?
No, I do. For me, it's always a good time. The Sonics weren't a team. They haven't been a team since I've been in the NBA. So just to go play in Seattle is cool. We played in Vancouver a few years back. We did it, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago. We had a preseason game in the Coliseum. So every time we get to do something like that, I always enjoy it. Because I wondered, like, what was it like? When it was a real thing, when the games were played in these different arenas. So I am excited to play in Seattle. So I think it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Dame Austin White with the Portland Tribune. Chauncey was talking about wanting this to be the most connected team, and obviously a lot of changes in the offseason. So just how different does this club's approach to team building and, everything, this kind of offseason message they've been sending, how different is that kind of compared to, a couple of years past?
I think just a couple years back it wasn't as fresh, because we had guys that had just been around for, longer stretches. So it wasn't fresh. I don't want to say it wasn't much to be excited about, but it was like the same thing. I knew who I was coming in to see, and I think the biggest difference this year is that it's fresh. It's a lot of new guys. There's a lot of things that I've had to learn, over time, just about people. I've had to, build these relationships, because even last season after the trade, it was so many new guys. You got 10 days, you got people you don't know who's going to be here, you don't know what's going to happen. So just how fresh it's been having to, build those relationships and, get to know guys. Outside of what it's always been, I think that's the biggest difference, is how fresh it is. It gives you something to be excited about, because you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what to really expect. And that's been fun for me, just getting to know the younger guys, some of our newer guys, and building those relationships. Like it's not the same old thing. It's something new, and it just feels fresh. And it just feels good. So. I'm excited about, getting started.
Jamie Hudson, Coin. Dame, last season we got to see Nas really start to come into his own before his shoulder injury. What are you expecting to see out of him this season?
I mean, I'm expecting a lot from him, and that doesn't mean like a numbers thing, but I just, his energy, like I've worked out with Nas a lot this summer. We've been working out together, and the energy that he brings is really who he is. I think you see a lot of guys in the NBA, they just bring fake energy. They know that people want you to have energy, so they pretend to be excited and they make noise and they do all these things. But the energy that he brings is like, that's really who he is as a person. He's a great teammate. He's always high energy. He's super competitive, and he wants to be a really good player. He wants to do well for the team. So I mean, how he's been shooting the ball, how hard he's been working. Him being healthy and him being fresh and having a break similar to what I had. coming into a season knowing he's going to have more of an opportunity, him also being able to build and be comfortable with, with the relationships on our team, even with our staff, everybody showing the belief in him that we have. I think it'll be, I think he's going to have a great season.
Hey, Dame. Orlando Sanchez, KGW TV here in Portland. You've had a lot of time to reflect and think about things and, prioritize what's important to you in life. As you add another year into your career, what motivates you at this point?
I look at, all the success that I've had over the course of my career, and just being at home with my family, I felt like I got a small taste of retirement, just like being at home every day. I go to the gym, I come home, I'm at home a few times, just with 3 kids. They driving me crazy, and I'm just looking at highlights sometimes like, man, like I'm getting excited to play again. But it just made me think, like, whenever this happens for me, whenever I'm done playing, I want to be able to look back and know that I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. So just winning a championship, I really want to have that experience. Even not playing last season and seeing Golden State have a few down seasons and a few bad seasons, and then them show that they were still connected, and have some young guys come in and step up and go out there and do what nobody expected them to do. Just all of those things. It just, being at home made me just realize that when I'm done and when this is really my life, I want to be able to look back and know that I experienced the top, and just knowing that I do things the right way, and I know I work hard and I do everything that I'm supposed to do to give myself a chance. It made me realize how much I wanted that experience, to be able to look back whenever my career is done and know that I felt that.
Bill Oram with the Oregonian. So do you feel like this team made the changes that get you closer to a championship this summer? And when you look down the road, you've got the extension now, you can take the long range view. Do you see that with this group, and do you feel like what steps are necessary to get there?
I mean, I don't really know anything. I mean, you can only do what you think is right, and like I've been saying, I believe in Joe. I believe in Chauncey, and I think what we did with our roster gave us a much better chance than what we had prior to that. And over the last month and a half, just looking at, like I said, the way it looks and the way it feels, I feel like we are much closer to that. We've given ourselves an opportunity to really move closer to that. Looking at our size, the athleticism, our versatility, the mix of experience, and young guys that are turning the corner. I think a lot of the more successful teams that you see in the league now have that type of makeup. They got the length, they got the toughness, they got athleticism, they got some youth, they got some experience. And they together, they connected, they believe, and I think that's definitely the path that we're on now. So I think we are in a better position, and we've put ourselves in a better position and given ourselves a better chance to make that happen than we were previously.